man?
So yeah, man, how was the food? How was everything?
Food was excellent. Food was very good, man.
Hey, man.
Good flavors, very fresh. I'm full. I'm full.
That's good, yo. Really, I just want to just get into like who you are, what you do. So, Brian B. Jones. What is it, like 3 or 4 underscores? I don't even know. IG, but producer, engineer. With that being said, you started out, what, how many years?
Man, I've been making beats since I was 12. And so I started off on Fruity Loops 3.5. I'm 32 now. So well over how many years that is?
20.
15 plus. So it's been a long time.
No, that's for sure a long time, bro. Like to even think about doing that for how many years? Like I just started cooking when I was 20. So like I've done almost everything I pretty much wanted to do. I think this is the next step for me. But for the most part, man, like doing things in such a repetitive way, doing things for so long, does it ever get old to you? Does it ever feel like it's too much, too little? Or you feel like you like ever hit roadblocks?
I don't think it ever gets old because you're always learning new things. So it's always exciting, especially like when you love what you do. And I'm extremely enthusiastic about music, particularly hip hop, but all music. And just all mediums of creativity. And there's always something new to learn, and you're always meeting new people, and you meet people through the lens of your journey. So it's like I put my lens through music, and I've a lot of things have happened through that, you know, that have just snowballed onto my life and just made things bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you repetition breeds confidence. And once you get confidence, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable.
That's right.
You can do anything. And so it doesn't really ever get old to me. Sometimes it can get tedious. Obviously, different things happen in the game. Like, it wasn't always smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's ups and downs. So starting off, you know, moving to LA and then moving to Atlanta to try to get my feet wet in the game, getting beats stolen from me. You know what I mean? All kind of things, all the trials and tribulations that come about when you're trying to do things. And once you kind of cross a certain threshold, things just become exciting again. You know, the universe is going to test you to see if you want it. You know what I mean? So as long as you persevere, man, and you just, you know, you're going to hit roadblocks, but it just keeps getting more and more exciting. Like new things happen, new things open up, and opportunities come out of nowhere. Yeah. So you just never know what you're gonna do.
No, I feel that. I feel the same way in terms of like really, it's not really about the destination that you want to get to. It's about your journey and how much you put the work in, and it shows how many people you meet and their connections to you, or in general, the people you meet that can also propel you to where you need to be at. But mainly it's always about the journey, yo. Like it's never about where you want to go, but like for me, let's say I want to be by 32, I want to have 3 shows, whatever the case may be, and I don't want to do any of the 9 to 5 shit no more. But it's still, that's 6 years I have left for me to even arrive at 32. We talk a lot about like your mental, like where are you emotionally, mentally, like it's gonna test you. Your road is gonna always test you, no matter where you at, no matter what you do. And like you said, like how bad you want it, the universe is definitely gonna make sure that whatever you want is worth having. And I want to really touch on, like you said in Atlanta, you said their beats got stolen and stuff like that. So do you feel like, it's like a 2-part question. So if you were to stay in Atlanta, you think you would have had the same life now? And also, if when you move after Atlanta, do you still think about like, well, what would have been this had I stayed, or like, would I still have the same life had I moved somewhere else instead of coming back home?
I think me coming back home was the best decision I ever made, but also going to Atlanta was the best decision I ever made because it enabled me to learn humble myself because I remember being from up north. I'm like, oh, I'm about to go down south. I'm gonna kill it. They don't really know, and I had to humble myself and learn how to vibe. I didn't know how to vibe. I knew how to vibe, but I didn't understand. I didn't really understand how to appreciate what everybody has to offer. And Atlanta is like a second home to me now. I think it couldn't have been any other way because when I left Atlanta, I was I had did a song for Yo Gotti. I did a beat for Yo Gotti, and the dude who got me the placement ended up taking the credit for it, and I was in this like a terrible kind of place or whatever mentally, and I was like, all right, I need to get back around home, and so I came back home, but I started driving trucks, and then my truck broke down, and then I got a call from somebody like, hey, Royce needs an engineer. He just opened a studio. You know how to use Pro Tools, and so I really wasn't that familiar with Pro Tools. Like when I was in Atlanta, I did studio sessions and stuff like that, but it wasn't like on the professional level that I'll be doing it with Royce. So I lied and said, yeah.
No, that's facts. I mean, that's some real shit. For real.
Yeah, I mean, I was messing up at first, but I was determined to figure it out. And I just went on YouTube. I already knew sonics. I knew sounds. I got beats placed. I was making beats, but coming back, I learned how to be a producer. I learned how to be in a room. Now I can be in a room and I know every component. I can function in every capacity at every level of the creative process, whether it's songwriting, producing, engineering, mixing, and how intense he is. We would be in there for days, like days on end, like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and that's before we had a shower in the facility. And so we were just in there stinking up the place. It smelled like a locker room for rappers, So it really took my ears. It like took me because I always envisioned myself and inspired by like the great people, the Kanyes, the Timberlands, the Just Blazes, the Pharrell. So I want to be great, and I think that being around somebody like Royce, who is great, who's Shakespearean. He's Shakespearean. He's awesome. That really rubbed off on me. Like the work ethic, I already had a high work ethic. I'll make beats for like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, as long as whatever sessions going, however long. And but he just took it to a whole nother level of meticulous and finishing products. Learning how to be a finisher. It's not just about starting stuff and you got to finish. You know what I mean? So he taught me how to finish, taught me how to execute, and I learned how to build projects and stuff like that. I don't think it could have worked out any other way. Because in Atlanta, I was starting to slip into the mind frame of, again, with confidence. I'm thinking like, damn, I'm around people. Like I knew a couple of dudes, Fadeaway Mafia. I'm like, man, I gotta get a Ferragamo belt. I'm about to go to the flea market and get me one of these little fake foo-foo belts. You know what I'm saying? Like so, coming back here, I was able to come home, and I really always had it in my mind to do something at home.
Yeah.
So I think it all worked out for the best because now I can be home and also follow my dreams simultaneously. I don't have to be away from home. I was gone 5 years. Yeah. So you leave, come back, man, people older. Yeah. Things are changed. Like, dang, when did this get put up? When they built this? So I love being home. Things are changing here, so I want to be a part of that.
I know, like we talked briefly on like what you see next for you, like your career, and you want to obviously still work with Royce, engineer and produce stuff like that, but also you want to get into like writing your own thing, like writing movies, plays, or shows in a sense. So like, do you feel like not just about Royce, but do you feel as time has went on with Royce and everything that's going on, what you think that's like really plays a part? Like Royce, like you said, he rubs off on you, but like mainly you think when you're working with Royce, he helps you with more of a creative field with just, not just music, but with everything that you want to aspire to be and have inspiration for.
Absolutely. At Heaven, it's like a family. We're like family. So like when I first started, I was so super square. Like I had a notebook. I had like a leather bound notebook. I was writing things down. I thought, and the more and more comfortable I got, I realized my energy was more important than getting things right. You know what I mean? Get to a point where you know what you're doing, but then at that point, then you can play free, just like in sports.
Mm.
You know the plays. Now I can play my game.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm comfortable now. I think Royce created a space to where it was good. It felt good to grow. You know what I mean? You can grow. You feel comfortable, and you're doing things that are tangible in the world. Like you're part of project releases.
Yeah.
And so Royce, you know, he seen how hard I was working. And he would, you know, I've had opportunities I've worked on Eminem's last couple projects, you know, doing stuff for Royce that ended up on those projects, which enabled me to receive platinum plaques and certifications through Eminem's project. And then we just got nominated for a Grammy this past Grammys for Royce's album that I engineered on, I did some work on. And that just takes everything to a whole nother level too, you know? So it's all just pieces, you know, just pieces build up. And he's created a space for people to grow. It's a dojo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I went there, I was raised to like, yo, just because you didn't make the mess doesn't mean you don't pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, so I was there in a real dojo mind frame. I gotta win. I took that internship at 27.
Yeah.
I'm a whole grown man doing stuff for free. I'm like, yo, I gotta make this happen.
Yeah. Period.
Whatever it takes, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? There's the reason I'm here for a reason. It was other engineers there, you know, but I knew I wasn't the most skilled engineer, but I knew I could outwork everybody else. At least stay there the longest. It's like, yo, whenever I got tired, somebody else would come. I'm like, all right, I don't ever want to see him again. I'm not leaving. Yeah. I'm not tagging out, not subbing me out. I'm staying. You know what I mean? And it paid off. And he's seen the work ethic, and we just built up a friendship from there. You know, that's like my brother now. You know, so he just he's gone through so much in the game, so he's able to inform us. I would say us, like me, Ashley Sorrell, who is his artist, one of my good friends, and we do a lot of work together working her album right now. It's gonna be phenomenal. And but he really enables us to grow and gave us the space to develop and you know, really hone in on our craft and focus on that. That's what I'm really thankful to him for, as well as mentorship. He's been through everything. You know, in this game, they'll have you thinking that you got to do everything. Remember J. Cole when he first came out? He had chains on. Now look at him. Yeah. You know, he's coming to his own. He realized that it was never about that. You know, and so that's what we're really big on over there. You know, coming into your own as an artist.
Nah, for that. So like, I want to touch on back what you said with the Grammy and the Eminem Platinum Records. I do my research. So out of the three, because you ain't named the third one, you got the Grammy nomination. I still feel like that's the number one, but I'm gonna continue. You got the Eminem Platinum Records. Or is it Brian bumping your record on IG story?
That was definitely a surreal moment. That was surreal as heck, because I mean, I didn't. That was my first time being like, you know, I went out to Nashville to work on that project, and it went good. You know, things, you know, it went how it went, but I've learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself in that time. And I think that was just the universe telling me like, yo, you good, keep going, you know, because in this shit, like you really will, you'll do something, you'll feel like somehow in your mind, you'll convince yourself that it's hard to explain, but it's confidence. Yeah, you know what I mean? Maintaining your confidence. And that was just it just solidified like, all right, bro, you know, you belong where you at. People love people like what you do. People love what you do, and they you're affecting things. And so that was huge, man. I can make LeBron move. That's what LeBron did. You know what I mean? He moved his body to something I created on the computer. Yeah. You feel me? Like that felt really good, you know. It was definitely validating. But I think that for me, it was definitely, I think even outside of everything else, I think Book of Ryan, Royce's project before his last one that got nominated, is my biggest thing that I'm proud of doing. Because of how much work we put into that, how much effort got put in, and it really set the stage for a everything that came after. You know, so I'm really big on humble beginnings and doing things in succession and, you know, letting things unfold. So I think that, but I mean, obviously Brian bumping, you know, cool. Grammy nominations, cool. That's cool too. That's dope. You know, obviously with COVID, we weren't able to attend.
Yeah.
You know, but it's still super, super dope. You know, coming from where I come from, I graduated high school with a 1.7 GPA, and it wasn't that I wasn't smart. I just didn't have confidence. You know, so building that is super important to me, and those types of things help build that. But you know, so I would say it's all dope. You know what I mean? It's all dope. It's all cool things. I think we went to Dave Chappelle's party last year. That was pretty dope. Yeah.
I know we talked about it, but how was it for you to actually not even, like you said, the school shit doesn't really matter. But for you coming from where you come from and then also hitting different milestones with each level that you've been at, coming back home, getting your shit stolen from, in Atlanta, coming back home, working, like you said, humble beginnings, working with Royce the 5'9", working with different engineers, grinding, getting to the Book of Ryan. Then you've worked with personal projects with the Book of Ryan. Then you have the Eminem records with the Kamikaze. Then you have the Brian, and then you have the Allegory for the Grammy. And now, like you said, for last year, you went to Dave Chappelle's, I think it was his birthday.
It was like a big party, man. We walked in with Khalid.
Yeah.
That was dope.
You coming from that and then going straight to, I think you and Heaven and Royce have a whole nother project going on. I'm not gonna speak on it because it's not my place to speak on it because I don't know what all information it is that y'all want out, but y'all building something for sure. So
definitely building something that's going to be culturally important. You know, I think it's really crucial for people like Royce to do. He's all about it. You know, he showed that. He showed me that it's really once you reach certain spaces, it's really important to do things that mean something to the culture. And it can be dope, and you can have an impact and do it in a way that has never been done before as well. So I think it's going to be really important to the culture, something that's really new and fresh and original. I don't want to speak to it, you know what I mean? It's his show at the end of the day, so I want him to do the unfolding as it pertains to that, but it's coming and it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I wanted to show respect too. I want to say so for you working in the studio with everybody, or not everybody, but just the people that have come through Heaven and working with Heaven, who do you think, or what do you think was your favorite moment working there? Or who was the most random surprise for you in terms of working there?
Favorite moment working there? Jeez. What's the favorite Heaven moment, man? I don't wanna think too hard. I think when we found out that Royce was nominated for the Grammy, I think that was probably my favorite moment. As far as a particular person, it's hard to say. It is hard to say. I think favorite moment. I think when we found out he was nominated for the Grammy, that was just so vindicating because he produced the whole album himself.
Really?
He started making, as soon as he finished Book of Ryan, he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do next, and he just started making beats, you know. And then he has a bunch of producer friends that are around him, Denon Porter, myself. Obviously, he can call up Bank, he can call up, you know, whoever he wants, you know, and everybody gave him advice. And this dude literally would make beats for hours. And hours and hours and hours. I can't explain how much of a robot this dude is. I'm talking about days of staying up, making beats, really dedicated to the craft, and he ended up producing the whole thing. Nobody was yo, Royce, it wasn't no ghost producer type of situation. I watched this man do the whole project top to bottom. got nominated for a Grammy for it. It was so impressive, and it was so vindicating in a way, you know, especially for me, somebody that knows how hard he works, and he's not like one of them people like that's up there like, oh, team no sleep. It's past that.
Yeah.
It's past that. That's for people who just be staying up.
Yeah.
You know, he's up working, doing stuff, like progressing and beating at his craft. It's a totally different mindset with him. And to watch him do that and to play a role, you know, like, it was huge. It was huge. But more so just for him, you know, deserving that. I really felt like he deserved every last bit of that. He'll stay up at the studio for months, especially like with COVID. He didn't want to go back home and risk with his family, so he was really up there working on that project.
Yeah.
Working on that. It was huge, man.
How do you think, I want to ask two questions. The first one, I know we touched on energy earlier in the show. So what was the energy like when y'all got it? I mean, I assume celebratory, happy, whatever, but like, I know Royce is also like serious yet very like Mamba mode. So like
very Mamba, man. He's very Mamba, but he's a funny dude. Like, don't get it twisted. It ain't like we just sitting around frowning all day. We're laughing most of the time, you know. But it was a very Barry Sanders-esque celebration. He was like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Barry Sanders-esque, dude. It was like, you know, Barry Sanders just scored and just hand the ball to the referee. Yeah. Dude just scored and just straight said, here. Handed the ball to the referee and just immediately got focused on what was next.
No, that's Mamba mode, dog.
You know, he's sober. He's 7 years sober, I want to say, maybe even 8, and hasn't touched alcohol or anything. And so it ain't like we was in there popping bottles, and it's never been like that. Yeah. You know, I remember when I first started working there, my grandma was like, "Oh, you up there, make sure you don't do nothing they tell you to do." Like, Granny, it ain't even close to what you think it is. It's way more boring than you think. There's nothing happening up there. It is no shenanigans whatsoever. Never, ever. Like, you might smoke some weed or not even around Royce, but people around might smoke some weed or at the most maybe sip something, but it's never gone past that. It's honestly a work environment. It's like a work environment and a family environment. So there really wasn't any hoopla. And on top of the fact that there was no ceremony to go to, you know, so it was really just, you know, Royce just focusing on what was next. And that was inspiring to me. I'm like, yeah, that's really the mentality, because it's like, you don't do it you do it to make great stuff, man. I grew up listening to Timberland and Pharrell, and that used to run the radio. Imagine the radio, and it just,
early 2000s, it's crazy.
Pharrell, Timberland song, Dre, the best of the best. So it's like, I grew up on that, and that's like my goal is I'm aspiring to do things on that level, do things that matter culturally, that are going to stand the test of time and matter in 5 and 10 years from now. Yeah. You know, I feel like there's a big difference between attention and recognition. You know, recognition is a form of attention, but it wasn't you weren't seeking it. People just recognized you. Like playing football in the field, like, oh, you got recognized. I see you. Yeah. You know, you weren't like, hey, I could really play. Look at me. I promise you I could play. You never. And kind of like when you get there, you watch and never really, you know, this is like you get recognized. Yeah. That's way more important. That's way more validating for an artist like myself and an artist like a Royce to be recognized. I'm sure even like for your stuff, I think it'll mean a lot more for Gordon Ramsay to say your food is good than for me. You know, and because I feel like same for like if Timberland said he liked my beat. He's like, yo, you dope. I'm like, oh my God, this is Timberland. I'm being recognized by people I've always admired. So I look at like, you know, LeBron in the NBA, he want Michael Jordan to be like, yo, I'm sure at a certain point, you know, you get past that.
Get recognized for it.
But, you know, that's still important. So, yeah, that's always the goal, is creating dope stuff that's gonna stand the test of time, that you put your heart into, that there's an intention There's an intention. We're not seeking attention. You know what I mean? It's all about intention.
I want to talk about really how was it for y'all in COVID? Like I know from March up until I want to say even now, we're not really out of it. There's no such thing as a post-pandemic because we're still through it. But how was it for y'all working with different artists like Vince Staples when y'all had to literally, I'm pretty sure I didn't have to fucking go out to fucking Cali or wherever Vince Staples was or whoever else working on the project. So how was it for y'all like getting the features, getting everything right for the production and stuff like that? Even though Royce made all of the production for him, I'm pretty sure he had to get it mastered and mixed, and nobody was really there like that all the time. So,
well, man, you'd be surprised. People, well, not Vince. Everybody that did features, it was more so through email. Mm-hmm. You know, you send out the session. Yeah. They record it wherever they're at. They send it back. Mm-hmm. A lot of that happened prior to the pandemic anyway.
Wow.
A lot of the features and stuff came out prior. As far as like mixing, this dude Ari Morrison, and he came in and did the mixing. He actually came in, and then another engineer named Ivy Duncan. They like really sat and like hammered like in the middle of a pandemic, masks. Yeah. You know, I want to say that actually might have been prior to the pandemic. That might have been prior to the pandemic that it got mixed, and then when it came out, things were during the pandemic. It's all kind of a blur, man. Yeah. That whole last year was
for everybody.
It was so stressful, bro. You know what I mean? Like with the whole and the Trump presidency on top of everything. So it's just like it's all kind of a blur. But a lot of stuff happened prior to the pandemic. And then it was released, and then things kind of slowed down for everybody in music. Mm-hmm. You know, that's when Clubhouse started going crazy. That's when Versus came out. Yeah. You know, and we had to find new ways to create culture as a community. You know, and Swiss and Tim did the Versus, and that took off, and it really carried us over into where we are now. And I feel like there's a lot of new things that are going to be coming out. Everybody's ready to get back doing shows, and that's really the bread and butter of our industry, especially for artists. Yeah.
That's y'all get paid the most, right? I know that's 100% sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Performances, absolutely. Obviously, I mean, you got royalties and stuff like that, but you know, shows for sure. But you know, pandemic was just a time to regroup. I feel create. I feel like I created some of my best music in the middle of the pandemic because I kind of took all the expectations off. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't have to go outside. It's just like I get to do this, and I'm doing it. I've always done it because I wanted to do it, but now there's really no pressure, you know. So it really freed me up, and the only thing I had was time. And so many things happened during pandemic, dude. We had George Floyd, you know, different things happening politically. So there was always I was very. I don't want to call I guess inspired, which you could say, you know, with the things that were going on in the world. So it was an interesting time to be a creative, I feel, personally. Yeah. I know a lot of people took that time to just focus on family. I kind of, you know, I have a family, but I don't have a wife and kids. So I really took that time to just focus on my personal projects, my music. That was really it.
Yeah. I feel like the pandemic definitely for like, I'm not gonna say everybody, but for some people / most people, it was a time to like really like look inward in terms of like, cause you really being within four walls, whatever the case may be, it's really just you and your thoughts for real. Mm-hmm. So like, it's like whatever you had to really, whatever you was lacking or whatever you had like negative thoughts about, you have to really just fight that, or in terms of like really talk about that within yourself. And I want to ask, like, how was it for you, like mentally going through the pandemic and having to like work without being around Royce or like working without being around people? I know it's not the easiest.
It was different. Everybody was still within a phone call. Yeah. So it really wasn't like, you know, it wasn't as apocalyptic as it, you know,
as it may seem.
It came across and for a lot of people, you know. But I mean, shoot, lost people in the pandemic.
No,
like, you know, so that was difficult, but I think overall, it was just an adjustment. You know, it came there was benefits and negatives. Um, they were pretty much kind of equal.
Yeah.
You know, the benefits being you just get time to focus. You just get time to focus. It's quiet. You know, there's not a lot of noise. You're not spending frivolously. You kind of realize like, dang, I don't really need Starbucks every day. I don't really need certain things every day.
Having DoorDash every day.
Once things kind of got to a point you can DoorDash stuff, I don't know. You know, it got kind of crazy. It got kind of expensive.
No, I'm right now, majority of my money went straight to wine. I think Cinco de Mayo was probably like my funnest day. And then like, I think me doing shrooms for sure was like my funnest day out of 2020 for sure.
I didn't know we were getting in that bag. I mean, you talking about some shrooms now. I didn't know what kind of show this was.
I mean, look, man, we trying to have fun, but at the same time, it's just...
That's the bag. I'm in that bag.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't get,
spiritual journeys and whatnot,
Certainly, in case you didn't know, Ann Arbor, Washington County is legal or decriminalized. You know, so I did mushrooms with my girlfriend in Atlanta one time during pandemic. That was pretty cool. That was fun. Nice little spiritual,
I feel that.
cleansing. Take the weight off, readjust, reapproach. It's real. It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
No, effects. Like, I think honestly, that was like, that day in general was probably like the funnest day I ever had. On top of that, like, spiritually just like releasing and like eye-opening in terms of everything else. And I would definitely recommend it for everybody. But hey, listen, don't be in no negative thoughts. Don't have a bad mood. I'm not gonna say you can't be depressed. I would really wish that you weren't if you are going to try shrooms, because shrooms is all about the mind and your spirit and emotions. So if you feel down, don't take them at all. I do not recommend. But if you are in great spirits, high spirits, I definitely recommend. I wouldn't necessarily say do them out in public. If you really experience doing them out in public, but please don't. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, find you a nice safe space.
Yeah.
Find a nice safe space. I mean, I would say I've done it quite a few times. I mean, both while happy and while depressed. It's different experiences each time. You learn something. I wouldn't necessarily go into it looking for anything, because it's, even while I was depressed and I took it, I was able to reconcile in a way that was more healthy and just more of a, outward approach. I was able to observe myself in a way that was different and sort through my issues in a way that was I wouldn't say detached, but it was just, when you look at your problems, it's like looking at the maze from an aerial view instead of like you're in the, you get the aerial and it's like, oh,
bird's eye view.
Maybe I just need to stop eating, this, or maybe I need to reapproach this, or maybe I need to heal this relationship. Maybe I need to, do this. It's different for everybody.
Trying to navigate, making sure you hit every single corner, making sure you hit every single turn and make it out the maze.
Definitely, man. Definitely. You realize like, oh, there's cheese in my pocket. Like, oh, dang, all right, I had cheese in my pocket the whole time.
Yeah.
There was no maze, so I could just.
Yeah, you always see yourself out. Yeah, always see yourself out. I didn't know it was gonna get into that bag. I ain't gonna lie to you. But no, I think let's get into more lightheartedness. So like we talked about in the early 2000s, you had the Kanye's, Pharrell's, Timbaland's running it, and also like Rick Rubin still running it with Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. So I want to say like in the early 2000s, did you ever see Kanye beating 50 for most sales?
Absolutely.
Did you?
Oh, absolutely. I knew from the second I heard Kanye West, I knew it was something else. And I love 50. 50 Cent was a whole movie. If you were there, you knew. Yeah. It was a different vibe. Like people be thinking, I love all the artists today. Yeah. If you think these artists is fish grease, 50 Cent was fish grease. like you've never seen it before. It was a whole movie. You had dudes wearing bulletproof vests who was from the burbs. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, it was a whole aesthetic. It was a lifestyle. G-Unit was like a lot. It was crazy. It was crazy. He took the world by storm. And so, but once Kanye West came out, I knew that dude was just different. Dude was just different. And he's continued to be different, whether you like him, hate him, love him, disagree, agree, you know, you can't say dude ain't different.
Hey, that's all the Kanye haters out there, because niggas gonna definitely hate. Me personally, aside from his out of music things, Kanye is probably one of my favorites. Like, my holy trinity, for real, is Kanye, Cudi, and Young Thug. You came from like Atlanta, or you've been to Atlanta and from. So like, for me, man, it's more, when I say the Holy Trinity, it's like people you really they can't do no wrong in your eyes musically. And really, I think Kanye is up there because at that moment, it was a shift from the gangster rap / like hardcore rap to niggas in pink polos and backpacks and niggas talking about Jesus walks and hearing that shit in the club. You got Kanye right there. And then after that, you have Cudi, who really he brought that whole emotional music to like, I mean, everybody's music is emotional, but like Cudi really, he held that with pride. And then for me, I have Young Thug because there's not one album that really sounds the same, for real. And I feel like that's the same way with all three of them. And another thing with that is that each one of them, I feel, without one or the other, there isn't a lot of artists in this game right now. Like, without Kanye, I think you wouldn't have Drake. You wouldn't have Lil Uzi. Without Cudi, you wouldn't have Travis. You wouldn't have, I don't even know who I probably could even add. Without Young Thug, you wouldn't have Gunna. You wouldn't have Lil Baby, who is fucking ridiculously high right now. Like, that nigga's on a fucking streak. Like, that nigga's like, I would have never thought. I listened to the Dirk and the Baby joint, and I was like, nah, bro, like these niggas is just different. And I've never been a Dirk fan or a Baby fan. I'm more of a Gunna fan. But when I heard them two together on the same fucking album, I'm like, nah, these niggas really got it. But Kanye, man, like, that's just, that nigga's cut from a different Egyptian cotton silk cloth. Niggas can't touch.
It's the fearlessness.
No, facts.
It's the fearlessness.
Facts.
It's the fearlessness, dude. You can't, it's like watching Evel Knievel, bro. It's like, it's the fearlessness in your ideas. Confidence in what you're able to do. Like, people told him he couldn't rap, he rapped. People told him he couldn't make shoes, he made shoes. And he changed shoes. Like,
he changed the game.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, the dude just, like, it's the fearlessness to believe in your ideas and see them through and finish, execute. You know, that's what I love about Kanye. That's an interesting holy trinity. I love Young Thug. I think he's an artistic genius. You know, he might not be the most technically sound rapper ever, but he brought forth something that was wholly original. He's so stylistically original. He's so himself. You know, and that's really what artistry is. And I feel like that translates to all mediums. You know, if you're able to take yourself and put it into your artistry, and really come across genuine, you know what I mean? Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. It's easy. Every rapper has a different job. Yeah. Every rapper has a different job. Every artist has a different job. So it's figuring out what your job is and doing it and executing and doing it. Young Thug is one of the best at that. Young Thug, and we've had the privilege to watch him grow as well. Oh, as a person and as an artist. Yeah. You know, and to grow in front of people takes a lot of heart. Takes a lot of heart. People want to come out the gate perfect. I'm guilty of this for sure. You want to come out the gate being perfect, but he came out being himself, and that's really what this is all about. You know, at the end of the day, I would say I don't know if I put him in my personal holy trinity of like you can't do no wrong because I'm a little older, and that's not and I appreciate Young Thug, so it's not even like I appreciate and listen to Young Thug. I like Young Thug. I rock with Young Thug, so it's not even like that one of those type of parties. Even though me and Royce talk about Young Thug all the time, you know, you'd be surprised. Like he understands it. He understands what's going on here in life in general. honing in on yourself and making that and projecting that and being that and embodying that, being comfortable in your own skin, especially for black men, takes a long time.
No.
You know, you might not come into your own being comfortable in your skin until you're maybe sometimes you're 50, 40, you know, and then you get to that point where, you know, you feel
Comfortable.
okay even being a person. You know what I mean? You feel okay in your body. It's like, dang, I'm here. You know, so that's huge. If you can reach that level of comfortability at a young age, I'm impressed by younger artists that have seemed to be able to reach that level of comfortability at that age. Like, it's like, damn, that takes a lot. You got an old spirit.
Yeah.
Takes a lot.
I think it's more so like you said, like with Kanye comes with fearlessness. And a lot of people don't really, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, some people don't really have it and they are insecure. And it's okay to be insecure. We're all insecure or something. But to be yourself and to be original and to have your own sound and your own way, your own style, that's the most important thing. And a lot of people we don't really find that until later in life. But the fact that you, like you said, you can own that at a young age or own that in a certain period, it doesn't, the way I see it is that as long as you can own it and you're never ever shying away from your true self, that's the most important thing, especially being, whatever you're doing, whether you're a businessman, fucking plumbing, being an artist, being a cook, being videography, whatever you want to do, you gotta make sure that you have your own lane and stick to it, not being somebody else's bag or like, oh, I want to do this and do that. Like, it's okay to take pieces, but make sure you're not taking the whole fucking art when you're doing it. Like, you gotta have your own lane, your own style, and then you just roll with it. And if people fuck with it, they fuck with it. If not, it's really just that. Like, you're not gonna appease the masses. Not everybody's gonna like what you're cooking. Like, that's just it.
Nobody likes a copy.
No, facts.
Nobody likes a copy. There's only room, like, whenever, say, somebody breaks the mold, like a Future, there's only room for one copycat. And he's gonna, you know what I'm saying? There's only room for one person to come behind that trying to do the same thing, and they might do something. They might have a song or two, but it's never gonna be the genuine article.
Yeah.
Same thing with production. It's like, yo, like sometimes people come to be like, oh, can you make me a Metro Boomin beat? I'm like, dog, that don't even make no sense.
No,
that don't make no sense. He exists. Go get a beat from him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want a beat that sounds like his when really it's an energy game? You know what I'm saying? Go get his energy.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want my energy, you want my energy.
Yeah.
But it's like approaching artists asking for, you know, it's like somebody coming to you like, hey, can you make me a Wendy's cheeseburger, maybe? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like,
I feel it.
Maybe it's a personal thing. I know some producers who do that. You know, they'll like do stuff like that. But to me, that's so taboo. That's so against universal code of conduct. Like, I don't know what kind of karma you dealing with doing stuff like that. That's weird. That's just too much. I'd rather just not. I'd rather just miss out on the opportunity altogether.
No, I feel that.
Just wait. I wanted to tell you my Holy Trinity though too. Man.
Oh man, please.
I could just do years of Kanye. I could do like 05 Kanye.
Listen.
I could do like 05. You know what I'm saying? But obviously Kanye West, come on, man. This dude made, in the same life, this dude made Jesus Walks and the 350s. Let's just get that out the way. Come on, man. Let's just be serious.
He also gave us 808s and Heartbreaks.
And he made 808s and Heartbreaks in the same lifetime.
Graduation. In
the same lifetime. Can't tell me nothing. And the 350s. In the same lifetime. Like, what? Come on, dog. That's just crazy. That's nuts. That's
college dropout.
That's Leonardo da Vinci shit. That's
bro, like I don't
catapults and shit. And he painted and he sculpted. It was like they call it, I think it's a polygon or something like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but continue talking.
Disciplines of artistry. Mm-hmm. You're able to achieve
look that one up.
High levels in multiple disciplines. You know what I mean? I'm a sculptor, I'm a painter, I'm an artist, I'm a thespian, I'm like all these different things all in one. I'm an actor, whatever. It's like that's just phenomenal. I think Jay-Z, obviously. Come on, man. Jay,
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan, but I'm gonna say this. I respect him immensely for how long he's gone for and how, like, I will say Jay-Z is probably one of the, I honestly think he's one of the best rappers right now. Me personally, he's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, like, I respect him. I listen to him for sure, but I'd rather listen to Kanye than Jay-Z. But 100%. That's me.
This is what I love about Jay-Z. I listen to when I listen every couple years, I can listen to the same song and get something completely different out of it. Just growing as a man. I'll be like, I hear a song like a Jay-Z song like I'm 25, I'll be like, oh, this fire. I hear when I'm 32, I'm like, oh, he's spitting.
Yeah.
Some real, he's like talking to me right now.
Yeah.
He's talking to me now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I didn't hear it then, I heard it, but it was like, this dope, it sound good.
Yeah.
But now I'm hearing what he's saying to me. I'm like, yo, I'm at that point maybe.
No.
But maybe I'm able to understand it more clearly. It's like, yo, every time it's like a good movie. It's like, oh, I've seen Matrix 100 times. I might be able to get something new out of it every time.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Jay-Z. And this dude just be cracking codes. He be like really giving gems. He be giving gems.
People, I ain't gonna say
gems.
people. A friend of mine told me there's a Jay-Z bar for everything.
There is.
And honestly, real shit though, that's probably the truest shit I ever heard, for real. Yeah. And that's the thing for me, it's like, I have yet to listen to his whole catalog for real, but like I've listened to obviously The Reasonable Doubt, Black Album, Blueprint 2. So like, there's still like, there's honestly, there's a Jay-Z bar for everything. Like no matter what you're going through or what you're going to go through or what is going to happen. I said the same thing twice. There is a bar for anything. And 100%. I think for even to reach that level of artistry is fucking insane. But to continuously do that consistently is a different level.
This and Jay-Z, black man, with a building that stories tall in the middle of Manhattan, employing other black people, killing the game, running around, having Beyonce come in meetings, just blowing their minds, getting bags, taking bags. You know what I'm saying? Just taking bags from this industry that took so much from us.
Yeah, facts. They're still taking stuff from us.
They're still taking stuff from us to this day, dude. You go to try to clear a sample for somebody, it's gonna be some old white dude that own it.
Yeah.
It was made by a black artist in the 60s. I'm like, why do you own that? You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy stuff. And so that's what I love about Jay-Z is just this he took back ownership of so much and he's just elbowing niggas out the way. He just coming down the hallway just like
ball niggas.
Boom. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. It's knowing your value, standing in your value is that's what Kanye did. You know what I'm saying? People be like, oh, he's ranting. I'm like, dog, he hit a ceiling a lot of people never saw. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't understand industries and how they actually function at a high level. You just can't explain that to just anybody. You just can't explain how this stuff, hedge funds and all these things move into how they control things to just anybody. Because they're going to be like, why can't you just make t-shirts and just print them out? Like, dog, it's a whole different ballgame dealing with people who have literal factories and like whole countries they've indentured to themselves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Corporate colonialism, high level shit, high levels of shit that people don't want to really speak on that makes this world go around. You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole other segment of a show that we got. Because that's real shit that you said that because like a lot of people don't really understand that like when you're doing stuff like this, whether you're making t-shirts or like you said, trying to get your samples cleared, you can't do the simplest things. Like for instance, even to put an artist's mixtape on Apple Music or Spotify, it takes so much to just get shit cleared from because back then, bro, we had DatPiff, we had fucking LimeWire, we had fucking, what was it, Blue Wire? No, it was something else that was Blue. Frostwire. Aries. We had fucking, Bearshare, like all of that shit, bro. Like we've had so much to really just like download free music from or like even just putting music on it. Yeah, we got SoundCloud, but even SoundCloud's getting to a point now where, or even is at that point now where like you can't even like put out real music without some type of like demonetization coming around, or because everybody wants money. SoundCloud was once a free base where it was just like, yo, you want to put music on here? Go ahead. Now it's different hoops and hurdles. YouTube used to be just, hey, put this on there, let that shit ride. And now you can't even say certain things anymore on YouTube without them even taking the whole video out. And it could be so much as saying just like one wrong word. We don't even know what the wrong word is, but it's just that. Spotify came, a few years ago, 5-10 years ago, I don't really remember. And it's starting to take over almost like SoundCloud down there. with Spotify is more or less like all purpose, like with podcasts and music and different things.
These streaming services, people go like, all right, I'm independent. You can be independent, but they basically, the record labels got in bed with these streaming services. And
Facts.
They created a metric for what it is that you're in a deal with them. You're signed to Spotify essentially because they're telling you what they're telling you what one play equals. They figured out, they've quantified it somehow, and it still is to the deficit or to the disadvantage of the creator. You know what I mean? Pennies on the dollar, fractions of a penny. They literally, you're signed. You know what I'm saying? To an extent. That's why Jay-Z, when he created Tidal, it's the same thing when Barack Obama got elected. We were supposed to go crazy. We were supposed to dump resources into getting him to send it to whatever he needed. We were supposed to, black people were supposed to be like, all right, we're not putting our music on Spotify no more. If you own it, put it on Tidal. We had it. You know what I'm saying? Now he got it. Now you want to sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he probably it's within. It just makes sense because we didn't. You know, we weren't cohesive enough to be like, oh, he really just did that. You know, but these streaming companies are. It's a gift and a curse because you can't get blackballed anymore. It's impossible to get blackballed. Nobody can be like, oh, I don't like you no more. You can't put out music. But you have the free range to put out at your leisure, whatever you want to put out. But they're gonna pay you what they're gonna pay you. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Man. Is it Trinity all rappers?
No, it don't have to be. Well, mine was, but at the same time, I feel like Cudi is more of an artist. At this point in time, I'm starting to really understand that like there's no such thing as like a true rapper anymore because a lot of people really get into different lanes now. Like a lot of people even get different sounds for their songs, stuff like that. So like there's no such, like you have R&B singers rapping R&B or like even having like rock albums or rock sounds, stuff like that. So I don't think there's ever a true one lane anymore. Like if you want a certain lane for different music, you can go to a certain artist, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, I think we're over and done with just like real rap in a sense. Like you don't even like older people are like, they don't even rap no more. Like, or like rapping was really just about you just being on the side of the street, like rapping over beatboxing. And
so it just is what it is. My final Holy Trinity, I mean, I think it's gotta be Michael Jackson.
That's fair. No, like there's no such thing as a wrong Holy Trinity. So like it's
Michael Jackson for sure, man. Dude was just a pure artist. But if I had to pick a rapper, man, I'm going with what I say, Kanye, Jay-Z. I'm gonna go with Kanye, Jay-Z, Pharrell. He's not a rapper.
No, he ain't gotta be, but it's
Pharrell though, man. Talk about like he did the same thing Kanye West did, in the sense of like expanding what is accepted within our genre. He birthed Tyler the Creators, who I think is probably
100%
the biggest genius that we have in our culture, damn near. Like straight up, like he really
one of different
is.
Holy Trinity. I forgot about him. It's like, no.
That dude is just something else.
He's a genius, bro. I honestly, it's not like I hate comparing. I see so much of like a free spirit like from Kanye within him because of how much he has really, like his music has really evolved from just Goblin up until Igor. So like, it's crazy. I didn't start listening to Tyler until Cherry Bomb. So like after that, I was like, all right, Flower Boy came out, and I'm like, oh, this nigga really can rap, like, or like he sounds different than everybody else. And Igor came out, and he was like, yo, the fact that this is the most different album I ever had in my life, and y'all fuck with it this much. And we talk about authenticity, and we talk about how different how you have to be your own self and to put your own shit out there, and everybody to fuck with it. That's the most important thing. So
most definitely, he made. I love artists like a Young Thug who make the world fuck with them.
Yeah,
it's like the world don't want it. Drake even's like that.
Yeah,
niggas did not want to like Drake. Niggas, I was definitely
one of them. When Over came on, I was like, no, turn this shit off.
Niggas wanted to hate Drake so bad, but at the same time, you can't deny this dude's magnificence. He's incredible. Drake is incredible, and it's like you can hate it, love it, but this dude, how prolific he is, and his ability to consistently create good music, you know what I'm saying? Whether people want to put it here, there, whatever, his legacy speaks for itself, man. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
It really does. Dude is incredible. But Kanye, Jay-Z, and Pharrell, I think that kind of covers the gambit for me as far as artists that really influenced me and helped me grow as a person, you know, and be comfortable with being from the burbs or being from here, not necessarily being a street nigga, you know what I mean? Like, and just being comfortable creating from my point of view, you know what I mean? Like that was incredibly huge to me because it's like I grew up on a lot of, I remember not liking rap at first, and my dad played it. I was like, I don't like this. I was like in second grade, I was like, what is this? They're yelling. You know what I mean? Like I like some rap songs, like beats, but you know, they really created stuff that I felt like resonated with me. It spoke to my soul and it inspired me to create, you know?
No.
Definitely inspired me to create.
No, that's crazy, yo. Like, I think, like, I got 2 questions before we get up out of here. The first question is, if you had to go to any concert in your lifetime that you couldn't go to, what would it be?
Ooh, that I couldn't get to? A concert that happened or just a person?
It could be any person that was dead or alive in your lifetime from the time you were born up until now, or any concert that you just couldn't go to. And even when you were like, yo, I want to go, but I can't go.
I think that's got to be Michael Jackson. I mean, for me, it's Michael Jackson or Tupac.
All right.
I think I've seen Jay-Z, I've seen Kanye, I've seen Eminem, I've seen pretty much everybody I wanted to see. Pharrell really doesn't do concerts, you know what I'm saying? But I think
he did have his festival 2 years ago. He had the I think it was like something in the water fest at Myrtle Beach or something like that.
I seen Cole, I seen Kendrick, Tupac. You know what I mean? I would love to have been a part of that energy, not even necessarily like a big show, like more of an intimate type of like, you know, one of them shows, you know, like where you probably can go dap them up after.
Yeah.
You know, like real tight type stuff. Biggie or Tupac, Bob Marley, you know, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, for sure. You can still go see Stevie, perhaps, you know what I mean?
If he chooses to do concerts.
Yeah, for sure. Stevie Wonder probably one of my favorite artists. But probably Pac, you know what I mean? One of those.
I feel that.
One of those.
I think for me, it's definitely Watch the Throne concert. We are never going to see those two on the same. We probably will, but as far as I know right now, we will probably never see those two on the same stage ever again. And Watch the Throne was something special for him. Like in 2010, 2011, I didn't really appreciate it as much as I do now because of like how crazy that shit really is. Like you like it's certain things where like we just literally just like let time tell it. And I think that's the truest thing with anything, but mainly music. And 10 years, Watch the Throne is still like, these two niggas really made a classic. Or like, we don't give certain people their flowers when they drop something because we want to hate so bad, or we don't want to like something so bad. But it's like, years later, we look back or we listen to something and we're just like, yo, she was spitting, or he was spitting, or they were spitting. Like, yo, like these are certain things that we have to really like look into as people and be like, yo, like whatever body of work somebody is putting out, whatever somebody is doing, you got to respect it at the end of the day. Whether it's one track for fucking 30 seconds or it's 20 tracks for fucking 50 minutes, whatever the case may be, you got to respect it. And I think that's the most important thing as us as humans, is giving people the respect they deserve when it comes to like their own respective bodies of work.
Most definitely. You know I'm a stan, so I was there. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Kanye, like his stage show, he had created like this platform, and like where I was sitting, I was like parallel to this nigga. I know he didn't see me. Being at that age, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This he had the kilts and he had the Givenchy dogs and shit. Like, it was crazy. It was nuts. It was nuts for sure. Jay-Z killed it, obviously, but Kanye obviously is Kanye. That was fire. That was fire, man. Shoot. I think they'll probably do something again, but who knows? I wanted to go to one of them Sunday services. I ain't gonna lie.
Yo, when they did them, it wasn't last summer, it was the summer before last, and like somebody had told me he was coming. I'm like, Kanye ain't coming fucking Detroit, nigga. Like then he was at the theater. I'm like, no, there's no way this nigga really doing that shit in Detroit. And then the same night, he was like, yo, I'm throwing a surprise fucking listening party for, I forgot what album was coming out. I think it was Jesus, not Jesus,
was it Jesus King?
It was Jesus King. It was Jesus King. And then like people had went to I think it was at the Fox. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, I really miss Kanye. I don't even know how I even missed it. I just couldn't go because I think the tickets had sold out. I think I was coming off of work when that did happen. So I was like just shitty. But that's one thing, like if it was ever a thing I really wish I could have went to was to Watch the Throne. Oh, and because we're never going to see those two ever again. Like it's just like something magical happened during that time for those two, and that's the most important thing. But before we get out of here, man, I want to ask you, what can the people look forward to in your future, or what are you even doing now that people can like tap into and pretty much really just get from you?
Right now, I'm working on a project with the artist named Ashley Sorrell. She's probably the most talented artist I've ever worked with in my life. Mm. She's a singer, but she's more than that. She's a songwriter, singer. She's just everything. She's the whole package. So I'm really looking forward to this body of work. I think that I know this is going to be the body of work that changes my life forever. Mm. I know for a fact. I know that for a fact. And so just be on the lookout for Ashley Sorrell. You know, that's Drake on 40. You feel me? Like, she's coming for real, and it's gonna be a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. Wholly original, just good music from a good place.
I can't wait, yo. I'm gonna tap in for sure.
For sure. I'll play you some stuff.
All right, yeah. After this, we're definitely gonna. But man, thank you for even being a part of the show, man. My first episode. What we even gonna name the dish? I don't even know.
That's a 7 mile surprise, man.
7 mile. Hey, look, that's it. 7 mile surprise, man. But I'm your host / chef, Chef Shem. This is a special guest, Brian Jones, B Jones 3445 _ I have no idea. Check him out on IG. Ashley Sorrell. Be on the lookout for her, man. But we out of here, man. I appreciate y'all, and that's it, man. I'll name this just later.